Piccadilly station displays a typical mid-Hanse pattern of station buildings, the main building encompassing both offices and accommodation. As Ropley is reached, we alight momentarily, as indeed do many passengers, to admire the loco yard. A mere 2.5 miles, all downhill towards Alresford, is all that now remains of our journey. We can see our destination, Alresford Station. This was always the most important station on the line in BR days. The other original station at Ichenavus was also of this pattern, but has sadly since been demolished. The town of Alresford itself is very close to the station. Alresford Pond may be of interest to naturalists. A look around the station itself is a must before returning to Alton. The signal here is to early BR pattern, with upper quadrant signals on lattice posts. The West Country Buffet offers refreshment at the end of the journey, and the railway shop is well worth a visit.
Running a steam railway is like running any other sort of major attraction, which is very heavy on cost. And we have the constant challenge of getting our visitor numbers to provide enough revenue to pay for the cost of operating our trains. If you think that it costs £350 every time one of our engines leaves the shed for a day's work, you can start to imagine that the cost of operating our railway is gigantic. If you also imagine that each locomotive wears itself out in a matter of 10 years and costs £70,000–£80,000 to put back together again at the end of that, you get another clue as to why it is that we are constantly battling against the need for money. And the greatest thing that can happen to us is for people to come and ride on our trains, enjoy their day out, and spend their money on the railway.
It's possible to start your journey at either end of the line. If you begin at Alresford, the car park is available for travellers. Alternatively, if you come by train to Alton, you simply have to cross the platform to join the Mid-Hants train. The Watercress line would cease to exist if the massive efforts of the enthusiasts weren't evident. But is it necessary to have specific knowledge and much time to spare?
Anyone can be a volunteer on the Watercress line. It helps if you like railways, of course, and trains, but there's no need to know anything about the trains or how they operate. In fact, we have a lot of volunteers here who came with absolutely no knowledge of running trains or anything about it, but they wanted to contribute to the success of our railway. And you can work in any number of departments, from the actual operational side, through catering, through administration, through anything that you can imagine that might have something to do with providing the train service.
The Watercress line owes its existence to the many dedicated enthusiasts who have worked so hard over the years to ensure that the day when the line was closed in February 1973 was not recorded as the last time a train ran on the line. In 1963, the Beeching Report recommended closure of the line, and it became generally run down. The new railway began with only the stations and buildings at Alresford and Ropley, and the track connecting the two. Between the summer of 1976 and the opening ceremony in 1977, staff were trained whilst locos and station buildings were restored. Quite a feat. The job of laying track to link up with Alton was carried out during quite appalling winter weather, between November 84 and February 85, and it was a 7-days-a-week job. The Watercress line became complete again on the 12th of April 1985, when the final track panel was laid. The inspections followed, and the first Mid-Hants train ran into Alton on the 25th of May 1985. The official ceremonies to mark the completion of the Watercress line were held on July the 24th, 1985. The railway now stands as a living testimony to the dedication of the many volunteers who have created this unique attraction. The Watercress line has many assets to offer the whole family for an affordable day's outing. James put over some of his favourite aspects of the railway.
Well, obviously, it's a good place to bring Dad and the sons. Equally, it's fun for everyone because it's a nice place to be. The railway goes through some magnificent countryside. We have a lot of special events, particularly on Sundays, when all kinds of complimentary things go on at the railway. At Ropley we have shows of one kind or another, we have exhibitions of various types, and things that everyone can enjoy, not just, as it were, the male. In any event, it's fun to go for a train ride. At some times of year we have special things happening, particularly in the run-up to Christmas time, when we bring up to 40,000 people to see Santa Claus. And for me, that's the best time of year, when in the gloaming at the end of the day, we have a trainload of happy kids screaming away for dear life, and Santa Claus in the centre of the whole thing. Coming to the Watercress line adds a whole extra dimension to experiencing steam trains and railways. For as soon as you come into the station, particularly if there's a train here, you are thrown into the way that the world was on the railways. Chances are you'll get a smut in your eye. It's a question, therefore, of being part of the experience. You can feel it, you can smell it, you can see it, you can experience it in all its facets, and it does bring it all to life, which is the difference between just knowing about something and being part of it.
So, we've brought you some sights and sounds from the line. But is there something, perhaps, you've missed out on? Yes, of course, I hear the enthusiasts in the family saying. To really enjoy the whole experience of the Midhants Railway, you need to visit it yourself, to take in the real smell of the steam.